Qin Wenqie is famously sharp-tongued. I'm on the Kuvya side, and the moment he saw the white lace dress the sponsor had mailed me as a sample for an online shoot, he sneered. You insist on squeezing into that thing just to humiliate yourself? Anyone who didn't know better would think some family's Sao was experimenting with bondage. I've lost count of how many times his venomous words have made me crumble. Yet every time his outrageous beauty, and the way money seems to fall from his pockets, bullies me into pretending I don't care. Then, on the eve of the debate tournament, a junior from our club leaked our entire case file to the opposing team. On any other day, Wenqie would have already curled his lip and asked whether her cerebellum had failed to develop. Instead, he simply tossed her a packet of tissues, turned his face away and muttered, "What are you bawling for? You look hideous." Du Yi sobbed, "I'm sorry. It's all my fault. Because of my carelessness, you won't be able to compete." 5 minutes earlier, the organizers had disqualified us for the leak. Months of work, and we were barred before we'd even stepped on stage. Fury swept through the team. "Careless," someone snapped. "Looks deliberate to me." Whose idea of careless is printing our brief page by page and leaving it at the opponent's door? Yi hiccuped. "I mixed up the room numbers. I'm sorry." The members only grew angrier. "Our rooms are right next to each other. You forgot where we stay. Fine. Did you forget where you stay too?" "Enough," Wenqie cut in, voice low. Then he looked at me. "Wen Shuqing, you're the president. Are you really going to stand there while everyone gangs up on a girl?" He let his gaze travel over me once more and added softly, "Right. I forgot. You're an accomplice." A sodden wad of cotton seemed to wedge in my throat. The sudden suffocation left me speechless. Fortunately, another member spoke up. "Explain yourself. How is asking her not to come back bullying?" The president only said she won't pursue responsibility. "Since when is that a crime?" Yi sniffled, clutching Wenqie's sleeve. "Brother Wenqie, I know you're defending me because you feel sorry for me, but..." She glanced at me as though I were some monster, then lowered her head, voice steeped in defeat. "Maybe Senior Wen really doesn't like me. That must be it." In the end, we parted on bad terms. Wenqie led Yi away by the hand. Before disappearing, he turned back, eyes frosted. "Wen Shuqing, you're being petty. I hope you reflect on your mistakes." I watched their retreating backs, my heart a wasteland of confusion. What had I done wrong? Even after I drifted back to the apartment Wenqie and I shared, I still had no answer. The floor, polished spotless by the housekeeper, reminded me, Wenqie is a fanatic about cleanliness. He might as well tattoo "Do Not Enter" on his forehead. Yet that ban applied even to me, his girlfriend. Unless he allowed it, I couldn't so much as brush his hand. If I tried, he'd retreat with a frigid glare. Once, after I'd been harassed by thugs while working a night shift at a food stall, I called him from the police station, crying. When he finally arrived, face like winter, all my pent-up grief burst free, and I threw my arms around his waist, sobbing, You're finally here. Qin Wenqie, you have no idea how scared I was just now." At first he let me cling to him for a long while. Only after I'd cried myself out did he lower his head and look at my swollen eyes. I thought that, harsh as his words usually were, he'd at least offer some comfort when something like this happened. Instead, his thin lips parted and he whispered, "Wen Shuqing, holding me like this, don't you feel dirty?" Remembering that moment, tears slid down my face before I could stop them. Right then Qin Wenqie walked in. When our eyes met, I hadn't even had time to wipe the drops from my lashes. He kicked off his shoes impatiently, gave a cold snort and looked away. "EE was bullied by all of you until she couldn't take it, and she hasn't said a word, yet the ringleader is the one bawling. Impressive." My voice was still thick. "She ruined the competition for all of us. I only asked her to leave the club. How is that excessive?" Everything I'd swallowed all afternoon spilled out. "And you, aren't you the one who practically has I despise idiots tattooed on your forehead? Why did you side with Du Yi today?" Qin Wenqie froze, then replied irritably, "Despise idiots? Wen Shuqing, could you try speaking more nicely? I can't stand watching a dozen people gang up on one girl. What's wrong with that?" I raised a hand to wipe my tears, but they only fell faster. Du Yi is an outsider and you can't bear to see her cry. What about me? I'm your girlfriend. Am I supposed to watch you protect some stranger without feeling anything? He let out a short laugh. "Here we go again. I really admire you. Wen Shuqing, always getting jealous over nothing." "Jealous over nothing?" I laughed through fresh tears. "You think we bullied Du Yi, so you keep shielding her? Did you know my tuition for next semester depends on the prize money from that debate? She sabotaged the entire competition and I merely asked her to leave the club. How is that too much?" Qin Wenqie's face didn't soften in the slightest. He only curled his lip. Playing the pity card again? He had seen with his own eyes eyes. How desperate I was when I couldn't pay tuition, how bedraggled I looked juggling part-time jobs. I poured everything into that tournament just so the award could cover next term's fees. Yet in his eyes it was all a performance. All afternoon I'd wandered in a daze, wondering what I'd done wrong. My mistake was simple. Why had I wasted 3 years dating a man like Chin Wen-che? Crying for so long left me dizzy when I stood up. Instinctively he reached to steady my arm, then seemed to remember something and withdrew his hand, lips pressed tight. I gave a wan smile, my voice numb from weeping. Think whatever you like. Chin Wen-che, we're done. Disbelief flashed across his eyes. You're breaking up with me over something this trivial? He sneered. Fine, since you brought it up, don't you dare regret it. I won't, I said woodenly. I refuse to waste another minute on a cold-blooded man who's never seen me as an equal. I'll move out as soon as I can. Before I could finish, his phone rang. When he saw the caller ID, the corner of his mouth lifted. He answered and even put it on speaker. Du Yi's soft voice drifted out. Brother Wen-che, I fell while jogging and hurt my leg. Could you come over? Chin Wen-che's gaze stayed on me as he smiled. Sure, send me the location. I'll be right there. The call ended. He looked down at me. Let me repeat, I never retrace my steps. If you apologize to Yi, I'll pretend today never happened. I cut him off, meeting his eyes word by word. I did nothing to her. Why should I apologize? She's waiting, go to her. He raked me with a glare, ground out fine, have it your way, and slammed the door behind him. After he left, I packed through the night. He'd always been generous. Since we started dating, the dressing table had been crammed with designer skincare I'd never even heard of, and branded bags I never dared to use. I handled them like fragile relics whenever I cleaned. I didn't intend to take any of it. On the coffee table lay the supplementary card he'd tossed at me one day after he'd watched me wince while disinfecting a scrape I'd got delivering takeout on the sofa. Take the card. My girlfriend doesn't need to live like this. I treasured his gesture, but never spent a cent recklessly. The few times my grandmother was rushed to the ICU, I used the card, then repaid every yuan afterwards. Now the card rested silently on the table. I returned to the dormitory well past midnight. Because the debate had been cancelled, I was hauled to the counselor's office before I'd even woken up the next morning. How did you let this happen? Your club prepared for months. Why was the competition cancelled? Before I could answer, the other members leapt to my defense. It's not Xu Qing's fault. Du Yi leaked our brief to the other side. The counselor frowned and summoned Du Yi. When Chin Wen-che walked in beside her, every member of the debate club looked straight at me. Du Yi pitifully said to the tutor, "Teacher, you called for me?" The tutor saw Du Yi's appearance and couldn't help but get angry. Before the tutor could speak, Chin Wen-cheng sarcastically said, "Well done, Wen Shuqing. You guys weren't satisfied with ganging up on a girl yesterday, and now you're coming to the teacher to tattle today?" The tutor frowned and scolded Chin Wen-cheng. "Watch your words. What do? You mean Shuqing came to tattle? My student was inexplicably disqualified from the competition. Is it wrong for me to ask a question?" Chin Wen-cheng nonchalantly said, "Sure, why not?" Then he continued, "It was Yi's fault for not running away in time, but even if you want to punish someone, you can't just target one person, can you? Shuqing is the president. If anyone is to blame, it should be her the most, don't you think?" I was so angry that I was trembling all over. Chin Wen-cheng, however, seemed oblivious and mockingly glanced at me, saying, "Some people always claim to pursue fairness and justice, don't they? As the president, you should take the main responsibility. You should own up to this, shouldn't you?" My fingernails dug deeply into my flesh. In fact, Chin Wen-cheng was right. No matter what the truth was, as the president, I did have to take the main responsibility, but he shouldn't have been the one to say it. He shouldn't have been the one who had been my boyfriend for 3 years. I stopped the members who wanted to speak up for me and said to the tutor, word by word, "It was my oversight. I didn't keep an eye on Du Yi and let her give the opponent a chance. You decide how to deal with it." The tutor moved his lips and finally sighed, saying, "In that case, Du Yi is expelled from the debate club. As for you, you should give up the position of president and let someone else take it." Chin Wen-cheng was delighted with this outcome. He folded his arms and snickered a few times, saying, "Now that you've lost your position, let's see how you can still act superior and judge others from a moral high ground." I closed my eyes and said to Chin Wen-cheng, "We've finished with the official matters. Let's talk about personal ones." Chin Wen-cheng laughed as if he had heard a funny joke. "What personal matters are there between us?" Before he could finish his sentence, I mustered all my strength and slapped him. The force was so strong that it made Chin Wen-cheng turn his head. Before this, I had never even raised my voice to Chin Wen-cheng, let alone alone slapped him. In front of him, I had always been gentle and obedient. This slap stunned Qin Wencheng. After a while, a hint of anger gradually accumulated in his eyes. When Xu Qing, explain why you slapped me for no reason. My palm was red and numb, but looking at the slap mark on Qin Wencheng's face, I felt an indescribable sense of relief. Yesterday, it was your girlfriend who was disqualified from the competition because of Du Yi. Instead of standing up for me, you ran away with Du Yi holding her hand. I slapped you for not knowing how to distinguish relationships and for bullying your girlfriend for the sake of an outsider. With this slap, we're even. The news that I had slapped Qin Wencheng spread like wildfire in the campus. After all, before this, my reputation in school had not been good. Labels like love slave, gold digger, and despicable had been attached to me like shadows. It was just because no matter how badly Qin Wencheng treated me, I had never talked about breaking up with him. Now hearing that I had actually slapped Qin Wencheng, some idle circles in the campus exploded. They were all betting on how I would deal with the situation to win back Qin Wencheng's heart after this incident. But I didn't care about those meaningless rumors. Since I couldn't participate in the debate competition, the prize money was naturally gone. Recently, I had been busy with part-time jobs to earn tuition and living expenses for the next semester, until one late night, after finishing my last delivery job, exhausted and sore, I received a call from Qin Wencheng. Qin Wencheng rarely took the initiative to contact me unless there was something important. As soon as I answered the phone, his languid voice came through. You left something at my place. Come and get it quickly. Don't pollute the air in my house. I was already used to Qin Wencheng's cold words, and my voice was tinged with a bit of fatigue. What is it? Qin Wencheng on the other end of the line said, your lousy ring. You have half an hour to come and get it, or I'll throw it away. Thinking of that ring, I felt a moment of dizziness. The homemade silver ring had suddenly become popular in our sophomore year. At that time, I didn't have much money, but I still wanted to give Qin Wencheng a gift. So, on a Wednesday afternoon when I had no classes, I dragged Qin Wencheng to make a pair of rings, just for us. Qin Wencheng expressed so much disdain for the place, but when the rings were made, he still put it on like I did. At that moment, my heart was sweeter than honey. After making sure I wasn't dirty, I smiled and wrapped my arm around Qin Wencheng's neck from the side. So, do you like it? Qin Wencheng curled his lip in disdain and said, no, it's ugly. But that ring, Qin Wencheng never took it off after he put it on. Last night, when I took off that silver ring and saw the ring mark on my finger, I was also stunned for a while, but in the end, I gently slipped it off. Seeing that I hadn't spoken for a long time, Qin Wencheng's voice sounded impatient. Are you deaf? My consciousness returned, and I said to Qin Wencheng, I don't want that ring anymore. You can throw it away. Qin Wencheng seemed to be stunned for a few seconds, and then he said, when Xu Qing, do you take my place as a garbage dump? Do you throw all your unwanted junk here? My lips moved, wanting to say something, but I felt it was unnecessary. Let him say whatever he wants. I thought I could completely break off with Qin Wencheng, but unexpectedly, when I was doing a part-time job at a KTV, I ran into them again. The slightly ajar karaoke room door revealed several familiar and unfamiliar classmates sitting around Qin Wencheng. Qin Wencheng had a cigarette in his mouth. As the fire flickered, the cigarette was lit. Someone saw this and asked, Brother Qin, are you smoking again? Realizing she had spoken out of turn, she quickly shut her mouth. Before I was with Qin Wencheng, he used to smoke a lot, but I have rhinitis and can't stand the smell of smoke. Qin Wencheng would always complain about me being pretentious and troublesome, but he still cut down on the number of times he smoked. After smoking occasionally, he would go downstairs of our apartment building to let the smoke dissipate before coming home. Hearing that comment, Qin Wencheng's action of putting away his lighter paused, and he glanced at the person who spoke, saying, out of words, are you? The other students in the karaoke room quickly tried to smooth things over. One of them said, recently since that love slave, when Xu Qing hasn't been Zhou-chan Qin Wencheng, he's been enjoying his freedom. What's wrong with smoking a few cigarettes? Qin Wencheng lowered his eyebrows and his voice carried a hint of coldness. Don't mention her to me. Today, someone had organized a gathering and invited Qin Wencheng. Everyone looked at each other, knowing that Qin Wencheng's temper had been growing recently. They had heard rumors, but upon meeting him, they realized the rumors were true. Qin Wencheng's good friend laughed and poured him a drink, saying, who doesn't know that when Xu Qing loves Qin Wencheng to death and can't be driven away, I bet she'll only be able to act up for 2 or 3 days. After a while, when she can't bear the pain of missing him, him, she'll come crawling back. Qin Wenqing exhaled a puff of thin smoke and said, "You're the talkative one," but anyone with eyes could see that the restlessness in his eyes had diminished significantly. Suddenly, someone sharp-eyed spotted me and exclaimed loudly, "Wen Shuqing, what are you doing here?" Qin Wenqing's friend immediately said, "See, I told you, within half a month, Wen Shuqing will definitely come to you for a reconciliation." Qin Wenqing also looked up at me and asked, "What are you doing here?" As soon as he finished speaking, the other students started teasing. What else could it be? Naturally, you're here to make up with Qin Wenqing. Wen Shuqing, how do you plan to coax him this time? Amidst the mocking gazes of everyone, I slightly curled my lips and said, "Sorry, you're mistaken. I have no intention of reconciling with Qin Wenqing." Qin Wenqing's expression immediately fell. His friend pulled me towards Qin Wenqing, adopting a peacemaking tone and said to me, "Come on, Shuqing, let's not make a scene. We all see how you feel about Qin Wenqing. If you just apologize to Qin Wenqing, we can let this go." Qin Wenqing also flicked the ash off his cigarette and sneered, "Wen Shuqing, you have quite the network of informants. You followed me here as soon as I arrived." I sighed, not understanding why they were so fixated on this matter. I revealed my work badge and said, "I'm just working here part-time. I didn't expect to run into you guys." Everyone looked at my badge and exchanged glances. I said, "I still have work to do. Have fun." And then I turned to leave, only to have my wrist forcefully yanked back by someone. Qin Wenqing trapped me between him and the wall behind me, leaving me unable to move. His voice was very low. "You've already chased me here, so why play those games of pretending to let go? Considering how much you like me, I won't hold it against you. Just apologize to Du Yi, and we'll consider this matter settled." I was so angry at Qin Wenqing that I laughed. I pushed him away and said, "Qin Wenqing, don't flatter yourself. I really came here for a part-time job by coincidence. If I had known I would run into you here tonight, I definitely wouldn't have come." As soon as I said this, the karaoke room fell silent for a few seconds. Qin Wenqing's tone immediately turned cold. "Wen Shuqing, know when to stop. Don't overdo it." I spoke in a calm voice. "I hope you understand clearly. The breakup that night was not a joke." After saying this, I turned and left. Suddenly, from the karaoke room behind me, there was a huge sound of a wine bottle hitting the floor. Qin Wenqing's friend asked nervously, "Brother Qin, are you okay?" Qin Wenqing's voice was full of anger. "All of you, get out of here." The events of that night somehow got spread around. The classmates in school who were waiting for me to cry and beg Qin Wenqing for forgiveness so they could continue their drama finally realized at this point that my breakup was not a joke. But I had no time to care about the gossip of other students. In the counselor's office, I was stunned by the sudden good news. The school was going to recommend me to be an exchange student in the UK? The counselor nodded, with a look of approval in his eyes. Yes, but I hadn't been happy for more than a few minutes before reality pulled me back. I twisted the corner of my clothes, and my voice carried a hint of helplessness. "But you know my family's situation. Teacher, the cost of studying abroad is too high. I probably can't afford it." The counselor smiled kindly at me and said, "This time, I've applied for a full scholarship for you. The tuition is already included. The school there has also prepared a dormitory for you. As long as you work part-time in your spare time, you'll have enough for living expenses." Studying abroad has always been my dream. Hearing that the counselor had already arranged everything for me, I couldn't help but get emotional. I bowed to the counselor and said, "Thank you, teacher." After leaving the office, I immediately started preparing the necessary documents, but no matter how hard I looked, I couldn't find my ID card. After thinking for a long time, I finally remembered that during the trip I took with Qin Wenqing last month, I had left my ID card at his place. Actually, I didn't want to contact Qin Wenqing, but this was not the time to be stubborn. It took a long time for the call to get through. When I heard Du Yi's coquettish hello on the other end of the phone, my hand subconsciously tightened around the phone. I said, "Let Qin Wenqing answer the phone." Du Yi giggled on the other end and said, "Sister Shuqing, you can just tell me what you want. I think Brother Wenqing probably doesn't want to talk to you." Before I could say anything, Qin Wenqing lazily asked, "Who is it?" Immediately, a chorus of teasing voices erupted. Who else could it be? It must be Wen Shuqing, finally unable to hold back and wanting to reconcile with Brother Qin. "Amazing, Brother Qin. You've tamed that love slave Wen Shuqing once again." Qin Wenqing finally answered the phone and asked me, "Wen Shuqing, have I ever told you that I, Qin Wenqing, don't eat leftovers? We've already broken up. Why are you coming to find me?" I suppressed the anger in my heart and said to Qin Wenqing, "My ID card is still with you. Where are you? I'll come and get it." On the other end of the line, my one sentence froze the casual smile on Qin Wenqing's face. He clenched his phone and his tone suddenly turned sour. "You called me just for this?" I said, "Yes, that's right. Where are you? I'll come to you." Qin Wenqing wanted to curse, but seeing his buddies making wild gestures, he took a deep breath and still said, "Wan Helu, Jinwek TV." When I heard the busy signal of the phone being hung up, Qin Wenqing's expression was not very good. Qin Wenqing's good friend quietly wiped a bead of sweat. Others might not have noticed, but he who hung out with Qin Wenqing every day saw it very clearly. Ever since I had mentioned breaking up with Qin Wenqing, his mood had been getting worse day by day. Often while playing, he would suddenly pick up his phone to check for unread messages. After not seeing the message he wanted, he would directly turn his phone face down on the sofa with a gloomy face. Moreover, Qin Wenqing's good friend actually wished his eyes weren't so sharp. The plain ring we made together, I had taken off when I moved out of Qin Wenqing's house. However, Qin Wenqing always wore that ring. Whenever he was annoyed, he would unconsciously spin the ring. Seeing Qin Wenqing's bad expression, he quickly moved to Qin Wenqing's side and said, "Brother Qin, don't listen to Wen Shuqing's nonsense. Why did she come to find you for an ID card just now? She must be jealous and came up with such a clumsy trick to get your attention." Qin Wenqing's hand paused as he reached for the wine glass. "Really?" Seeing that he had hit the nail on the head, his friend punched his palm and said, "Of course." After that, he cautiously looked at Qin Wenqing's expression and said, "But brother Qin, I advise you not to be too harsh. No matter how much Wen Shuqing loves you, she is still a girl who needs to save face. As long as she behaves decently today, give her a way out." Qin Wenqing's furrowed brows had already completely relaxed, and he said, "We'll see." In fact, Qin Wenqing was quite annoyed. He didn't understand why I was always so petty. That night when he came home, he saw the empty living room and the lonely ring rolling on the coffee table. For some reason, he felt a part of his heart was empty. Everyone said I had no temper, but Qin Wenqing was so angry that he smashed several vases, thinking, "What do you mean no temper? Isn't this a big temper? Is it worth running away from home over such a trivial matter?" When I arrived, the karaoke room was very lively. Qin Wenqing was not singing. He sat in the middle position without saying a word. Du Yi leaned closely to Qin Wenqing's shoulder. Before I could speak, Qin Wenqing's friend called out, "Sister-in-law, why did you come so late?" Du Yi, as if just noticing me, quickly got off Qin Wenqing and explained in a very obvious way, "Sister Shuqing, don't misunderstand the relationship between brother Wenqing and me. I was too lazy to listen to Du Yi's nonsense and just said to Qin Wenqing, 'Where is my ID card?' Qin Wenqing looked me up and down and asked, 'What do you need the ID card for?' I took a deep breath and said, 'It's none of your business. We've broken up. Give me back my ID card." Qin Wenqing's friend quickly mediated in the middle. "Sister-in-law, don't speak so absolutely. Look at the two of you. It's not easy to be together again. Why say angry words?" Qin Wenqing's eyes gradually turned cold. He took out his wallet and casually threw my ID card on the ground like trash, which happened to land under the sofa. He looked down at me and said in a faint voice, "Sorry, it's too far. Pick it up yourself." I restrained the impulse to argue with Qin Wenqing again and just curled the corner of my mouth, saying, "Qin Wenqing, your accuracy is as bad as ever." I squatted down to feel for my ID card, but Du Yi suddenly moved. Her high-heeled foot accurately stepped on the back of my hand and then ouch said, "Sorry, Sister Shuqing. I didn't see your hand. Did I hurt you?" The back of my hand was red and swollen, but I still blew some dust off my ID card before standing up. That day I was so busy slapping Qin Wenqing that I forgot about you. "You bitch." Du Yi hid behind Qin Wenqing. "Sister Shuqing, you." I slapped Du Yi's face. "Stop deliberately doing these blind things over and over again. I'm disgusted." Qin Wenqing grabbed my wrist. When he saw the red and swollen back of my hand, he first imperceptibly frowned and then asked in a deep voice, "Why did you hit someone? Are you looking for trouble?" I curled the corner of my mouth, broke free from Qin Wenqing's restraint, and said, "I'm not that idle. If possible, I really don't want to have any more entanglement with you too." After saying that, I turned and left. Qin Wenqing's voice rang out in the karaoke room. "Wen Shuqing, apologize. If you don't apologize to Yi, never come to find me again from now on." I turned my head and looked at Qin Wenqing with a smile that was not quite a smile. Who cares? After I quickly finished all the procedures, I left the country directly. Although I was not used to many things when I first arrived, and after leaving Qin Wenqing, the heavy pressure of life hit me again. At least my heart was calm. One evening after part-time work at home, the college group chat, which had been silent for a long time, suddenly became lively. When I opened it, I found several photos of Qin Wenqing inside. His eyes were full of disbelief. Qin Wenqing stood dazedly under the girls' dormitory building. My roommate Xiao Man told me, "Didn't you tell your ex-husband about your application to be an exchange student?" When Qin Wenqing heard that you were going abroad, he was stunned and wanted to rush to the girls' dormitory without thinking. It was only after our counselor intervened and clearly told him that you had already left that he calmed down. I thought Qin Wenqing Wencheng wouldn't care about me that much. Even if he heard that I was really gone, he would just laugh it off and say a few harsh words. Xiao Man was still chattering away. Everyone says you were Qin Wencheng's love slave, but you broke up with him so easily and left so decisively. But what about Qin Wencheng? His panicked look that day was seen by everyone. My heart didn't stir at all, and I said to Xiao Man, Qin Wencheng and I have completely broken up. You don't need to tell me about him anymore. I thought Qin Wencheng was just not used to the sudden disappearance of a meek and obedient me from his world. Unexpectedly, the next evening, Qin Wencheng actually showed up at my school. When I saw him, my steps forward paused. Qin Wencheng was leaning against the wall, smoking. Even in a foreign country, his handsome face still attracted a lot of attention. When Shuqing, don't you think you owe me an explanation? I pursed my lips and countered, we've broken up. Any decision I make should have nothing to do with you, right? Qin Wencheng strode forward and tightly grabbed my wrist, almost shouting, without my consent, how dare you leave? As he spoke, Qin Wencheng's eyes actually turned red, and he shouted at me, I thought we were just having a normal argument, and as long as you came to your senses, you would come back. I found Qin Wencheng's words amusing. I come to my senses, come back, and then what? I clearly didn't do anything wrong, yet I still had to apologize to Du Yi. After apologizing, I would continue to be your love slave, letting you humiliate me again. Qin Wencheng's lips moved, and then he said to me, I'm not taking Du Yi's side. I just can't stand that you neglected me for a lousy competition. I've already said that you can use my money as you like. Why don't you ever listen? You'd rather participate in some stupid competition to win a prize than use the money I give you to pay your tuition. The day I spoke up for Du Yi, I just wanted to make you angry. Are you satisfied now? I didn't expect the truth to be like this, but since it's already in the past, there's no point in dwelling on it. I asked Qin Wencheng, are you done talking? I have to go to class. A flash of disbelief crossed Qin Wencheng's eyes. After all I've said, you have no reaction at all? I sighed and said, Qin Wencheng, wasn't this the norm between us before? I was always chasing after you, but my feelings were never cherished. Often, I was just talking to myself, playing a one-person show, while you. I imitated Qin Wencheng's tone and coldly snorted, couldn't care less. Seeing Qin Wencheng stunned in place, I no longer had the desire to continue arguing with him. I hurried off to class. Qin Wencheng stayed at our school for several days, but every time he tried to talk to me, I just ignored him. Later, he went back to our country and found out that he would have to wait until next year to apply to be an exchange student at our school. He was quite depressed for a while. As for Du Yi, she was in a miserable situation. The former members of the debate club still hated her to death. After gathering information for a while, they compiled a file about how many times Du Yi had interfered in other people's relationships. Originally, this file was only spread within a small range in our school, but after someone posted it online, Du Yi unexpectedly became famous. She became so well known that even I, far away in a foreign country, heard about her from the circle of international students around me. I didn't care about Du Yi's fate. My phone received a message from Qin Wencheng. I know I used to be too self-centered and hurt your feelings. I'm already working on controlling my temper now. Can we start? Over. My eyelids twitched. I deleted the message and blocked Qin Wencheng. Since I had already moved on, I didn't want to be trapped in the past anymore. It's not worth it.